I just jumped off from the very first glow call, and I wanted to share something that got me thinking that I was in the process of, and I want to bust some myths of how we oftentimes see that, like a person is doing something that we want to do, or they're super great at something, and then we feel like, oh my god, it must be so easy for them, they're perfect, they don't have any worries in the world, and they they are these beautiful, magical, perfect beings. And what happened to me in that call was that I felt like I sucked. Not sucked, but I could have been so much better, right? And I want to walk you through a process that was actually happening inside of me as I was doing this, because I am, one would call, a recovering perfectionist, and I have such high standards for everything that I do, right? I want that people coming into my world will just feel like they are welcome there. They are reflected back the magnificent creatures, powerful, magical beings that they are, and that they enjoy the whole journey, the whole space that they are in. And so I have such high expectations. I have such high standards, and don't get me wrong, they're awesome. I feel that they strive for me to always be better, get better, like just to show up fully. But it can also have a downside, right? Because me putting this high expectation on myself, having, people that I look up to, role modeling of like what it is that I also like am inspired to do and create in my life, can put me into a position where I'm like feeling like I didn't succeed well enough. I didn't jump high enough. I didn't overextend myself. I didn't meet the expectations that I had set for myself. So what do we do in those moments when this happens? Because previously I would have gone so easily into the place where I'm like, okay, fuck, sorry, damn, I sucked. It didn't go as well as I planned. I feel crappy. I feel like I'm not good enough. I don't know if I'm even like, I don't even know if I'm cut out to make these things, do these things. I don't need, right? All of this this snowball starts to accumulate. So when we don't have the awareness of it, it's just gonna take us on to the ride, right? It's just kind of like, we're just gonna go and just like be like inside of a washing machine, just letting our thoughts and our like stories and our perfectionist and our inner critics just like beat us up. And then we're gonna feel bad, and then I would go and I would perhaps do something that would get me out of it, that I don't need to actually address what's happening inside. So I would perhaps go and, I don't know, reach a cookie or a cake, or eat something, drink something, smoke something, watch something to make me forget about how crappy I feel about the situation, right? And that's such a human thing to do, because we don't want to face of like, oh, what if I actually did suck? What if I failed? What if I wasn't as good as I was planning to be? Now, doing this work, I want to just bust the myth that it's never going to happen to you. You're never going to feel like, you aren't good enough. These moments will happen. But it's so important to catch yourself from it, right? So the first step is awareness. I'm becoming aware that I have these thoughts. Like this old pattern, this old voice inside of me is starting to raise again. Right? Yep, exactly. Reality or truth. So I can pay attention. Oh, okay. There is this voice. It sounds very familiar. I think I've heard of it. I think I've heard that voice before. Most of my life, perhaps. And it says that I should have done better. I should have known better. I should have maybe prepped myself better. I should have maybe rehearsed more. I should have maybe done this and this and this. Should, would, could have. And at the end of the day, it didn't meet my expectations. I think you are better than this, right? So first of all, awareness. Okay, these are the thoughts that are running up in my head. And I can really see them as they are, that they are not truth. They are an opinion, right? So in the moment when I gain that awareness, I have a choice. Whether to go and run with them, or come back to my center and release them. See them for what they are. They're not truth. They're just stories. They're opinions, right? But now, dropping into the body, what somatics allows us to do is that I can still see that I have a reaction inside my body as well. So even though in here, I can recognize that, oh yeah, this is not definite, like, it's not true. Like, I know in here that in order to be great, you have to be willing to suck. Like, your failures, just you showing up boldly and like, you know, messing up doesn't mean that you are anyhow less worthy or you don't have it. It just means that you are in the process of it. You're practicing, right? Like, I know it in here, but something is happening down here, and I cannot shake this out just merely by gaining awareness in here and choosing better thinking thoughts or better feeling thoughts, right? This is important. It's pulling the brakes. It's understanding that, oh, okay, something is happening, right? I'm clearing this thing up here. Yeah, okay, cool. I choose again. I align back to what I know and what I choose to be truth and true. But now I have to address the feeling that has come up in my body. And if I dig deep enough, it's like, okay, I can, first of all, naming it, right? I can feel like this sunken feeling, like this heavy, like this almost like void, like this blob in my belly, right? I can feel it in here. Okay, awesome. I am recognizing that I have a sensation. My body is experiencing something, right? And I am recognizing, I'm naming it. I feel you. There is this heaviness, there is this, it's pulling me down. It's making me heavier. It wants to shrink, right? And already having that awareness, paying close attention what this sensation feels like, what are the words that you're describing it with, gives you a lot of insight as well of what might be typically like the go-to action, or the way that you feel overall, or the way that you want to now reflect that feeling in your life, right? So, okay, I can feel that. So what is it here to tell me? Why is it here? Because a part of me feels that, oh my God, what if this shows me that I am not good enough? Like, it reminds me all the times that I have felt that, right? It reminds me that I haven't done enough. I'm not being enough. What if they misjudge me? What if they judge me? What if they think the same things about me? What if they don't want to work with me? What if they don't want to be in the space with me? What if they, all of this what if game starts to boil up. And so there is a really vulnerable aspect in me that is super afraid that it will lose the connection and lose the love and not being seen and not being valued and not having the connection that it craves to have. And that's human. That's so natural that we want to have that, right? So I can really tune in and see that emotion for what it is. And first step in changing, shifting, and reparenting ourselves, because oftentimes those emotions, our body has been holding them since we were kids, since before we even had verbally, like our logic was online, since before maybe even we had language to explain that, express that, right? So it's super real for the body to experience that. So we have to go in. So the second step is like we have to find the space and the safety and feel like we can hold it. First was facing it, now is feeling it. Can I feel it? Can I hold that part? Can I validate can I validate the existence of that sensation? Can I validate that fear? Right? And by you holding space for this to exist, by you validating it, acknowledging and hearing it out, it's just actually like feeling it, like being with it, not in it, allows it to be freed. because that part feels seen. Think about it. You as a human being, we crave to being seen, to being understood, to being heard, to be fully loved for who we are. And that part that has come up is a part of me. So how can I bring that same love and care and kindness to it, to have a healthy relationship with myself, with all parts of myself, with all emotions, without making them mean anything, but simply being there and saying, I see you, I understand where you're coming from, I feel you, it's okay to be here. And just overflowing it with love and with care, and making sure that this part knows that it's still being loved, no matter what. Like, your love is unconditional, right? I'm even like tearing up because I am speaking to that part in me. And that part, like me having this teary eyes right now, is a reflection, is a feedback from my body that this part feels heard. And that's the power, that's the essence of this work. Like, you get to heal yourself. You get to bring that love to yourself. And there are beautiful tools for doing that. And I just want to kind of like bust the myth also that it's like, once you become aware that all of these things that you now are aware of will like disappear. No, it takes practice. It's like a muscle, right? And those parts need to hear it over again and over again and over again. It's like a kid, right? And or think of you in a relationship. Just because your partner told you that, you know, he or she loves you, doesn't mean that you don't want to hear it again, right? Yeah. And it's okay if you're not ready yet. Thank you, but the lesson you have, I am, is ready for it. Thank you, Phil. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. And we don't want to force ourselves into it. We want this relationship to be loving. And that sometimes means that we have to stay patient with ourselves and with those parts. Okay. And so now I just took like 10-15 minutes, and I allowed this feeling to move through me instead of like pushing it down, storing it away, transmuting it into something, numbing it, running away from it. I actually allowed it to rise. I listened to it. And so the third step is freeing, right? So facing, feeling it, and freeing it. That's as simple as it gets. It doesn't mean that it's easy, but that's how simple it gets to be. Once we stop running away from it and really like having a sense that it's okay, it's safe to listen, your world is going to change. Like, you are going to be unstoppable because you have such a solid relationship with yourself, with your core. Thank you for allowing me to have this space to share that with you. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it was reassuring. I hope that it found the message, the live here found you in the perfect timing. It supported you. So go enjoy your day. Thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you soon.